Hey, Cass. How are you? Welcome. Welcome in, Buckman. Oh, really? Hey, Prof. Yeah, it was wild because I jumped on very, very late. Oh, I should say early. I jumped on after midnight. Hey, Lordly. Welcome. Hey. The heck happened? Okay. Welcome, everybody. Salam, Jujus. Didn't have time to make breakfast, so I'm going to be eating tikka chicken for breakfast. Nice. What a way to start the day. Start the day with a ring stinger. Okay, I guess my best neighbor passed away a few days ago, so I'm feeling a little more down and hopeless than usual. Oh my goodness. Hey, how about I brighten your day up a little bit? Good morning, Hussein. Hey, Marit. Ginger's back home. Ginger is back home. Ginger is back home. He's sleeping at the moment, but I will make a video with him. He is asleep. But he's back. He's pooing, he's peeing, he's eating. Hey, Doug. Oh my gosh. He's a dog again. Oh yeah, he's smelly. He's very smelly. But very tired. Yo, Meg, welcome. Bellanissima, welcome. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. What up, Hussein? We've got a couple of things to go on. We'll get an update about Iran, and then we'll go into the discussion about the Saudi-US nuclear deal. Hey, Shiny! 10:55 p.m. in Hawaii. Cozy Pedals, welcome. So happy I got to catch you before bed. Yay for Ginger. Yeah. He's back, everybody. Gingino is back. Love it. My beautiful boy is back. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Straight into it. This is Al Jazeera. Iran says progress made in talks with Oman on Strait of Hormuz. Interesting developments. It's been a couple of days since America has bombed Iran. And it's been a few more days than that since Iran has bombed any vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. So something is happening. I don't know what it is, but something is happening. Gingino Bambino, yeah. He's such a good boy. Honestly, he's such a good boy.
Foreign Ministry spokesman says there has been progress in talks with Oman on the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Ismail Baghaei says several rounds of discussions have been held in Tehran. Both sides discussed mechanisms for managing maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. Well, Rasul Sardar is joining us now live from Tehran. Rasul, what have you learned so far regarding Iran's position in these talks over the management of the Strait of Hormuz?
Also, I just want to say,
thank you, friends.
we got a new sound, everybody. We got a new sound.
Thank you, friends.
Oh. Hey, Quimono. Hey, Jennifer. Timu Rosalia. Welcome. I just want to say
thank you, friends.
Well, last time when these face-to-face talks between Omanis and Iranians have happened was just before the renewed conflicts, and the foreign minister of
Bloodhound,
Iran
welcome.
was heading a delegation, an Iranian delegation in Oman, in Muscat, meeting his Omani counterpart. And in that meeting, so there was a proposal of the Omanis simply suggesting two separately controlled maritime roads. And so the northern one to be under Iranian control.
What did he say? He said, thank you, friends.
Thank you, friends.
This Modi.
And the southern one passing through the Omani territorial water to be under Oman's control. But Iranians back.
Hey, one thing we are going to go over today is the settler violence in the West Bank as well, because that is getting quite crazy at the moment. Gaza is still being bombed. Obviously, Israel just hasn't stopped. So we'll go over all of that after we finish the Saudi-US nuclear deal stuff.
Back then were not keen to embark on that because they believed that this could eventually bypass Iran. So Iranians are still insisting that the Memorandum of Understanding gives Iranians full control, authority to be in full control of the whole Strait of Hormuz. Now, so after 13 days of renewed attacks, once again we're seeing that the Omani delegation have visited Tehran here, and now the spokesperson of the foreign ministry saying that there have been progress in talks. Now they're talking about a mechanism to manage the Strait of Hormuz. However, here the critical thing is that he was asked whether there has been any change regarding Iran.
Also, haven't heard Hannah in a while. Oh yeah, we'll listen. We'll give her a listen in a bit.
Iran's position or the status of the Strait of Hormuz. Ismail Bakai said that there has been no change in the status of maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, but he did not directly talk about Iran's position, rather about the maritime traffic.
Hannah Montana just popped in my head, and that's a real fun thing to imagine. Your government lies to you, GI. Go home, GI. Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess we're all a little starved of Hanoi Hannah. So why not? Let's give her a bit of a play.
Чего ты там пиздишь, чего?
GI, your government has abandoned you. They have ordered you to die, GI. Do not trust them.
I feel like we should play this every time we have a veteran
GI.
in the chat.
It is a very good idea.
Imagine listening to this in the heat of battle every single day, being blasted on loudspeakers. This would be the core of so many veterans like PTSD. Hannah just popping up in their nightmares. They did this so well, honestly. All those soldiers who were there in Vietnam, American soldiers and whatever other international soldiers doing what they were doing to the Vietnamese people, deserve to have Hanoi Hannah stuck in their head every single second of every single day. Imagine Narendra Singh Modi.
Thank you, friends.
GI, your airplanes bomb your own men. You are not safe here. Bombers will fire you.
Damn.
GI, your helicopters fall from the sky like broken birds.
Your helicopters fall from the sky like broken birds is next level.
They cannot see from your airplanes, GI. They come to bomb you.
Your helicopters will fall from the sky like broken birds. Holy shit. That's amazing. Is there a song version of this as well? Am I going to get like copyright or something?
GI, your government has abandoned you.
Hey, Shanna.
They have ordered you to die, GI.
We'll listen to that later. The puppy's doing well. The puppy's well. He's home now. The puppers is home, everybody. He is home. He is with us again. He's lost a lot of weight. He smells like poop because he's got poop all over his like tail and everywhere. But he's back. He's alive. He's back.
So what we understand, there are the engagements and the parties are showing a sort of flexibility. However, we do not know the extent of that flexibility.
Well, good
yet.
luck.
Rasul, it's now been 2 nights in Iran without U.S. airstrikes happening. What are you hearing about that from people you're speaking with on the ground there? What do they think that this potentially signifies?
Well, here the general understanding is that this is a pose.
Poo everywhere is so very rarely good news. GG Ginger. Yeah, he's pooed twice today, but it was more like the vets hadn't really wiped him down and stuff, so we've been giving him like we've put soap on him and stuff. He's still, he's not in a good place, so we don't want to like hurt him or anything, so we'll give him a good wash down probably tomorrow. But he's so exhausted, you can tell. He's just exhausted. He needs rest. He needs to heal. He just needs to recover, man. Hey, not the one. He's such a good boy, honestly.
Was not an end to the war, and there are expectations that the war is going to resume because still there is a huge gap between the position of the parties. But on the other hand, there are still hopes as well that the diplomatic initiatives are ongoing and the parties could somehow find a solution for that. So what we know is that the Qatari and Pakistani mediators are heavily involved in a diplomatic process, and the messages are being exchanged between Tehran and Washington. There are proposals here, and also the Omanis particularly focusing on the status of the Strait of Hormuz. So this is another track. And at a regional level, so Turks, Egyptians, Pakistanis are also once again involved.
Salam, Beth.
So when we see a process between Oman and Iran, and a process initiated by the Qatari and Pakistani mediators, and then at the regional level, Turkey, Egypt, and Pakistan once again being involved to de-escalate the situation. So far, the main problem is that there is a lack of trust between the two parties. So Americans are accusing Iranians of not being serious about the talks, and they believe that once Iran received enough pain, it is going to come back to the negotiating table and show flexibility. And that is the same position when it comes to Tehran as well. Tehran also believes that the U.S. is not trustworthy, and unless Tehran raises the cost for the United States is not going to come to the negotiating table. So both sides being convinced that if they inflict enough harm on the other, they're going to force the other side to the concession. So that is the dangerous equation here.
All right, that's Al Jazeera's Rasul Sardar joining us live from the Iranian capital, Tehran. Rasul, thanks for...
A lot of times we will limit what we do at the end of a surgery visit because they just need time to rest and feel like themselves. Yeah. He spent a couple of days in hospital as well, so he's crashed. He's lying down at the moment. I'm so glad to have him back, guys. I can't tell you how happy I am just to have his little stupid staffy face in the house again. You know, I love him. I love him so much. Anyway, all right. So it's a bit of a weird time at the moment. America has just stopped its attacks, but America has loaded up the region with a whole bunch of tankers now. There are a whole number of tankers, what do you call it, aircraft, refueling crafts in the region. Like a lot. Hold on. Let me tell you what some of these reports are saying. We're talking about a few hundred here. Okay. So some reports are saying, like, despite the calm in the final days, massive numbers of American refueling aircraft arrived in Israel in preparation for strikes on Iran. The total is around 90 refueling aircraft. 90 refueling aircraft are in the region right now. Like, it's huge. And Netanyahu's flying to the US tomorrow. So I think we're on the cusp of potentially a massive escalation. I don't think Trump is backing down here. I don't think Trump is going to concede. I think there is going to be large-scale bombardment. For all intents and purposes, that's what it's looking like. Notice they stopped their attacks the moment Houthis hit Aramco. Yeah. Targeting Aramco has been a big deal. Has been a massive deal. So I think there's a few things about to happen. They're trying to bomb through the mountain, right? What do you mean? Sorry, deadly cheese cake? No, I'm not sure what you mean. But they are starting to load up in the region. A lot of military being deployed by the Americans. We'll see what happens. Iran has mountain bunkers, and they want to bomb through the mountain to get to the bunker. How many bunkers are they going to bomb, though, Deadly Cheesecake? They don't have that many bunker busters. Like, they have to ration their missiles. They don't have a plan. You think they're going boots on the ground? I think they're going to try another air assault again. I heard some reports suggesting they might use a tactical bunker-busting nuke to do it. My gosh, man. And this is the thing, though. We're on the escalation ladder now. Morning, Iran. Been waiting on this, bro. I think we're on the escalation ladder. Where we'll end, I have no clue. But it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like it's stopping. Yeah, there's so much military in the region right now. And who knows, guys, there might be a dual air attack on the Houthis and Iran as well. But it's just going to kill more people. It's not going to stop Iran. It's not going to stop the Houthis. I just don't get this. What are they trying to do? Hey, Vikash, welcome. All right. Now let's move into what we're here to discuss. The next big thing we're here to discuss, and that is the significance of the U.S.-Saudi nuclear deal. And this discussion was interesting, so let's listen into it, because I think it's quite a big development that we should be following.
What's the significance of the US-Saudi nuclear deal? The two countries signed an agreement to cooperate on what they say is generating energy for civilian purposes. But in a volatile Middle East, could this deal lead to a new global nuclear arms race? This is Inside Story. Hello, welcome to the programme. I'm Frankie McCamley. It's called a 1-2-3 agreement and would allow the United States to transfer civilian nuclear know-how and material to Saudi Arabia. The kingdom has long sought to develop nuclear power in order to reduce its dependence on oil. But the 30-year agreement could see Riyadh enriching its own uranium within a decade. And that's what's ignited concern across the Middle East, particularly as tensions escalate between
the US and Israel have fascist, racist, white supremacist bloodlust. Of course, they won't stop here.
Between Iran and the US. Critics argue that...
But the thing is, next to the moon, is if they don't stop, there'll be real economic impacts, not just for the rest of the world, but to them as well. So this doesn't come with a one-way impact only, you know? The impact is all on their victims type deal. This is going to come home harder than they're wanting it to, and I think this impact is not negligible. It's going to be significant, and I don't know if they're weighing up these risks or not, but I think Donald Trump is stupid enough to continue to escalate this.
The deal would usher in an era of nuclear proliferation. So, what are the long-term ramifications of the US-Saudi agreement? We're going to talk to our guests in a moment, but first, this report from Michael Apple.
It's a nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia that the US Energy Department calls historic. Signed on July the 22nd, the 30-year deal will reportedly allow Riyadh to launch a civilian nuclear program, enrich uranium, and build reactors on Saudi soil without UN inspections. Both the US and...
Without UN inspections. How crazy. This is how you know this whole thing is a cartel. This is a Western-sanctioned cartel. How can that be possible? How can that be possible? That unilaterally America can just say, okay, you don't need to abide by international law. Think about that, man. Think about how crazy this is. This is cartel shit.
And Saudi energy departments published statements announcing the pact. Riyadh says the move supports its efforts to diversify energy sources away from oil. A day later, US President Donald Trump posted on social media saying the kingdom's non-military use of nuclear energy is subject to it joining the Abraham Accords, something the White House press secretary reiterated.
Yes, this deal with Saudi Arabia, the energy deal, is contingent on this condition as far as the president is concerned. So we'll continue to talk with our Saudi counterparts to get the deal finalized and hopefully see them joining the Abraham Accords very soon.
Thank you very much.
The Abraham Accords are a series of US-brokered agreements that normalize diplomatic, economic and security relations between Israel and several Muslim-majority countries. The terms of the nuclear deal have not been publicly released, and Saudi Arabia has not commented on Trump's ultimatum. On the streets of Riyadh, many have welcomed the agreement.
Nuclear energy is peaceful and used in many industries. It's certainly beneficial to us, as it will increase the revenue from non-oil exports.
We thank God for this agreement. It's primarily a peaceful agreement, and its completion has been long awaited.
The deal is based on a legally binding international pact known as a 1-2-3 agreement, named for Section 123 of the US Atomic Energy Act. It sets out a legal framework governing peaceful nuclear cooperation with the US. Deals like this aren't unique or new to the Middle East. The United Arab Emirates signed one back in 2009. But what is new is Trump making the deal contingent on Saudi Arabia normalizing ties with Israel. The kingdom has previously linked any prospect of joining the Abraham Accords with a credible pathway to Palestinian statehood. And there's no indication that red line has moved. Michael Apple, Al Jazeera, for Inside Story.
I I think that red line is moving. I am truly, truly thinking that they're going to do it. It's a horrible state of affairs. The Palestinians will pay the price for anything that happens in the region. It's just how it's going to keep going. The world is just the powerful people just want to ignore Palestine. They want Palestine to go away from the conversations. They just want the genocide to be completed, and no one should talk about Palestine. You know, that's what it's becoming now, and there's less talk about Palestine. And this is what they want. They want to close the chapter on Palestinian identity once and for all. Once and for all, done. No more Palestinian people. They'll be happy. Hey, Papa.
You know, like, when are you going to finish your life?
In a couple hours, Papa.
In 1 hour and 1 minute?
No, in a couple of hours, Papa. You go sleep. It's time for your bed.
I want to watch me.
Watch you sleep?
Yeah.
What?
Mama always does it.
Yeah, I know. Mama is lying down with you. You go to bed, Papa. I'll join you other time. You go to bed. I love you. Love ya.
New follower detected.
Yeah, I feel that the world is wanting to forget about Palestine completely, you know? It's sad, man. It's so sad. People just want it to be over because it's making everybody look bad. And no one wants to do anything about it. It's fucking disgusting.
Well, let's bring in our guests now. Joining us from Riyadh is Abdulaziz Al-Ghashyan, a senior non-resident fellow at the Gulf International Forum. Barbara Slavin is a distinguished fellow at the Stimson Center who focuses on US foreign policy on Iran and the Gulf. She joins us from Washington, D.C. And Simon Mabon, who is a professor at Lancaster University and the author of The Struggle for Supremacy in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Iran. He joins us from Lancaster in England. A warm welcome to all of you and thank you for joining us here on the programme. First, Abdulaziz, I'd like to start with you and just the deal itself. And I really want to drill down on what exactly this deal is. It already feels like we've had a number of iterations of it so far, but what do you understand has been agreed and how has that been received in Riyadh?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say just thank you very much for having me, and it's good to join you, it's good to join your guests. The first thing I would say very much is that it's going to be very difficult to really try to drill down into the details of the deal. And the reason being is because precisely what you mentioned, time and again, there are just these statements and that will just may seem to contradict kind of what was already issued by the administration. And then there's a tweet that complicates that. So I think, in my opinion, it's probably best to understand it more holistically and probably take a step back and just look at the trajectory really of the deal, or what does this mean from the broad sense. I think I could probably summarize it as an American first approach meeting a Saudi first approach. And this is really, I think, part of the chemistry that both MBS and Trump have, is that this deal actually makes sense for both of them for different reasons. And for Saudi Arabia, it is very much strategic. For many,
Barack Obama in 2005, we simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and go around our communities without our knowledge of them. Interesting. Hey, Sweet Time, welcome.
Many reasons. As was mentioned, I think, in your introductory segment, this will improve the capacity for Saudi Arabia to fuel the economy and to fuel the running of the everyday requirements of Saudi Arabia.
They feel emboldened, guys. They feel emboldened. Now with Venezuela, with this new leader starting to meet Israeli officials, it's all, they're feeling emboldened with the successes, especially in Latin America. Iran's the last one. Iran's really the last sort of win that they haven't had. It's the big one. And as long as Iran remains, for them, it's not going to be okay. They're feeling emboldened across across Latin America. This fascist regime is emboldened completely to carry on its violence, and I think it's just going to keep continuing. It's unstoppable.
But more importantly, I think it would also provide Saudi with probably leverage in more geopolitical sense.
Islamist attack in Berlin, yeah, terrible. Did you see how Israel gunned down 7 Palestinians today and injured 10 others? Injured 20 others? Israeli army gunfire in Gaza kills at least 7 Palestinians, injures 20 since this morning. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You just want a story about some Islamist, but they're killing like 20 Palestinians a day. What the fuck is your problem?
Israel says it will kind of broaden the scope of negotiations of what it could negotiate over. It could really begin to, I think, provide more options regarding having a better say in the region. And also, it could then begin to diversify a lot of the exportation that it has. Not only the use of...
what do you mean we can't talk about it? Like, you're acting like that's a massive story when every day... Like, let me just have a look at your TikTok account to see if you've been talking about Palestine. Let's see how much you've posted about Palestine. Oh, nothing. So a private account that hasn't posted about Palestine has just come into my chat to talk about an Islamist terrorist attack. You know? Like, excuse me if I think you're full of shit and just disingenuous. That you haven't spoken one day about a genocide, and you want me to speak about something you give a shit about, obviously Islamist T attack, when 20 Palestinians have been killed today. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Not only the use of energy, but also Saudi Arabia wants to export uranium. So this then helps do that, but also in another...
Bro, what do you think about the 20 Palestinians that were killed today? You tell me. Obviously, you don't think genocide is a big deal. What the fuck are you talking about?
Other sense, I think it helps entrench...
Like these people trying to take like the moral high ground and they don't give a fuck about genocide. It's like, what a bunch of douchebags.
The Saudi-American relations even more. Even though they're at a time where there is a lot of doubt regarding the United States and its actions and the volatility of the White House, I think what Saudi Arabia sees, especially what this war has illustrated in the past couple of months, is that the United States is the only actor, the only non-regional actor that is able to exercise as much influence as it did. So therefore, I think having relations with the United States, especially on matters of nuclear issues...
Valkarunka, I don't think you were wrong. I don't think you were wrong.
...sensitive issues will then, you know, increase its...
Me? My guys? What are you talking about, my guys? Why haven't you spoken about genocide, buddy? Like, why haven't you... It seems a little bit disingenuous... It seems a little disingenuous that you haven't spoken about genocide and you're here gatekeeping that other people aren't talking about something that happened in Berlin. Trust me, mainstream media is covering that. You know what mainstream media isn't covering? The genocide.
Its relations with the United States probably increase its incentivization to really work with Saudi Arabia. And I think it just does other things as well. And I don't want to take too much of your time, but I think that's just in the broad sense.
This is white supremacy here. This is this white fragility here. White people think that their lives are worth a lot more than the 20 Palestinians who were killed today. That's the fucking problem. Like, I measure life equally across the board. And I am speaking up against genocide. If you want to talk about the Berlin thing, go talk about it, bro.
Absolutely not at all. You're here to speak, and we really want to hear your thoughts. I just want to put, there was a word that just stood out to me that you just said, Abdulaziz.
Islamofascism. Talking to an atheist and talking about Islamofascism. What a douchebag. Bro, you're a white supremacist. You're a racist. And you just wanted to come here and talk about Islam as the problem. Okay? I treat every life equally. That's the problem. I don't weigh white lives more than anybody else.
The word leverage. Barbara, over to you. Is that what the US is really after here, leverage in the Middle East?
First of all, good to be with you and good to discuss this topic. Well, the US has leverage, has enormous leverage because of its military power, as we have seen over the course of the war. I think Donald Trump is, of course, very...
That's why you changed the topic when I brought it up. Bro, like, we're watching Saudi Arabia versus Saudi Arabia-US nuclear deal. What do you want, bro? Do you want me to rub your little white ego? No one gives a fuck. No one cares about your problem. Go watch Build or something. Why are you here?
Transactional and very interested in projects that bring the US money. And in recent years, Russia and China have been the major players in the international nuclear industry in terms of providing reactors and other technology. So Trump would obviously like a piece of that for the United States. Beyond that, yeah, I think this would help solidify US-Saudi relations.
No, it's just that there's a genocide going on, West Wing. You know, there are priorities, and I think a genocide should be given the attention. This is about, I'm sure, buddy, that there are loads of mainstream media outlets covering what's happening in Berlin. We are talking about the genocide, buddy. Genocide. You understand what a genocide is, right? I mean, you know, people in Germany should understand better what a genocide is because they have committed one against the Jewish people. I thought you'd be used to understanding what a genocide is. And now Germany is sponsoring another one.
Assuming it goes forward. And of course, there are still obstacles, and we can talk about that, not just the Abraham Accords, but congressional review that has to come. And
okay, bro, I care about the genocide more than I care about crimes in fucking Berlin. I don't honestly, I care about the genocide far more than what happened in Berlin and all the pedos in Berlin as well. Like, I couldn't give a fuck about your crime in Berlin. That's for your cops to take care of. I care about the genocide being committed right now.
You know, the Saudis clearly have not been happy with the United States' pursuit of this war against Iran, which has destabilized the entire region and hurt GCC economies. So it's a way to patch things up and to serve U.S. commercial interests. I see it that way.
And Simon, I just want to bring you in as well. There's a lot of criticism surrounding this deal. You'll have seen it lacks oversight, some say, and guardrails.
Buddy, I don't care about your feelings. Your little fragility, I do not give a fuck about. Because you don't care about genocide, bro. You actually don't care about genocide. Do you agree that what's happening in Palestine is a genocide? Answer the question. Do you agree what's happening in Palestine is a genocide? Answer the question, bro.
that previous nuclear agreements do. So Saudi Arabia reportedly not going to be subject to the most rigorous monitoring of the UN nuclear watchdog. How is this being viewed in the wider region, would you say?
White fragility will always be like a massive, it will never fail to surprise me. White fragility will never, ever fail to surprise me. White people want all of the attention when genocide's being committed. You agree what's happening in Gaza is a genocide, and Berlin is another example of why you are a plague? Why am I a plague, bro? Why am I a plague? Because I am talking about genocide when your media doesn't talk about genocide? You can call me whatever you want, buddy, but you don't have an argument here.
Yeah, first of all, thank you
welcome.
again for having me on and for letting me share the panel with these two wonderful experts. I think it's a really interesting one in the sense that, unlike the deal with the UAE, for example,
I think you are an anti-Islam, like a simp. You are an anti-Islam racist who came in here expecting nothing different. What do you mean? What did I bring to Berlin? I don't live in Berlin, bro. Who the fuck are you talking to?
Back in 2009, the Saudi deal does not seem to have those same handrails. It doesn't seem to have the same guardrails that one would normally expect with the 123 agreement, with the non-proliferation treaties, broader parameters, or indeed the International Atomic Energy Association's broader expectations about what a nuclear agreement would look like. So in that regard, I think there's going to be a bit of frustration in the Emirates, for example, that the Saudis have seemingly got a sweetened.
I am an atheist, dipshit. Like, I don't live in Europe. I don't live in America. Like, you're coming here. You've seen a brown guy with a keffiyeh, and you've obviously like he's racially profiled me. He's racially profiled me. Come in here. It's the craziest fucking thing. He's racially profiled me, and he's made all of these fucking assumptions. A brown guy with a keffiyeh. Okay, bro. Berlin attack. Go. What a douchebag. He's showing himself as like the most rabid racist in the chat.
Deal than they did. And I think in Tehran, for instance, there's going to be a lot of anger and a lot of frustration about a perceived
No, you're not right. You're not right. Like, you think I am Muslim and you came here and you are taking on Islam against me. I am an atheist and my family are Hindu, bro. Like, you've completely misread the situation, buddy. I don't even live in Europe. You are a racist. Hey, Cicero, welcome.
Hypocrisy here. After all, going back to the early narratives around the US-led conflict with Iran.
The guy came in, brown guy, keffiyeh. Imagine if I had my beard. Imagine if I had my beard. He just racially profiled me, and he showed it off. And now he's like trying to double down. What an idiot.
This was about the nuclear question. And now Washington has determined that Saudi Arabia, its main regional ally, it has the right to a civilian nuclear program, which Iran says it has, and has repeatedly said that it is not seeking a military nuclear program. So I think in that respect, there's going to be deep-seated charges of hypocrisy, a two-tier sort of standard.
Are you the leader of the caliphate? Yeah. No, bro, your profile isn't spot on. We are here to talk about the genocide in Gaza and what's happening in the Middle East. I don't care about your feelings, buddy. I don't care about your feelings. You're wrong. You got it wrong. It's okay.
About who gets to have such a nuclear program, and then also amongst Washington's allies in the region, frustration that the Saudis may be perceived to be getting preferential treatment, but for the reasons that my colleagues have just outlined, there are good reasons for that. I think, for the approach taken by Washington.
And I think aside from the view that the Saudis are getting preferential treatment, I think one of the big questions and concerns around this deal is whether Saudi Arabia...
Oh, shit. Look at this. Mazzy, you're on many panels I'm on. You're a far righter, mate. Oh, West Wing. We actually profiled this guy right. We actually profiled this guy correctly. A right-wing nut. Look at this. Apparently, he's been on other panels, guys. Apparently, this guy has been on other panels. And apparently, he's already a right-wing nut. Oh, my gosh. We knew. We knew it. We knew it.
will be able to enrich uranium on its soil, which theoretically could produce highly enriched uranium for a nuclear weapon. Barbara, I just want to ask your understanding of the deal when it comes to this. It's a really big point. There's a lot of concerns raised about this.
Bro, he got outed, caught, exposed. Right-wing white supremacist with an agenda.
Yeah, well, the text of the agreement has not been released, so all we have are the media leaks, which suggest there will be a 2-year period during which the United States and Saudi Arabia will study whether it makes sense economically and in other ways for Saudi Arabia to enrich domestically. But I should just add that even if the Saudis do eventually have a facility to enrich uranium, they still can't manufacture fuel for a nuclear reactor. They would have to send the enriched uranium out of the country.
Oh, look at this. He's coming back with more Islamofascism. Oh, my God. Everyone's an Islamofascist, everybody. Everyone's an Islamofascist. Oh, my gosh. Everyone who isn't for Queen and country is an Islamofascist today. Oh my goodness. Oh, this West Wing dude is like, I think he's a Tommy Robinson dude, maybe. Maybe he thinks the great replacement theory is real. Bro, if you believe white people are so strong, why are you being replaced, according to you? Like, can you answer that question?
To produce the fuel assemblies for a reactor. So that is an added layer right there.
TikTok chat.
But reportedly there is this 2-year period. And I think one of the things that hasn't been discussed and maybe...
West Wing is not answering the question. He's sticking to the Islamofascist thing. Oh my gosh. Hey, bro. Hey. The great replacement theory proves that there's no such thing as Ubermensch. They've lied to you all this time. They've lied to you. You're just going to be replaced, you know? How do you feel about that?
Should be is whether there shouldn't be some regional nuclear fuel consortium that supplies all of the civilian programs in the region. It's been suggested as a way to deal with the Iranian issue. It could also help the UAE and Saudi Arabia.
Not to say Saudi news is not very important, but have you heard about the Ukrainian drone attack on the Iranian-flagged vessel in the Caspian Sea? Yeah, I did, Merritt. I did hear about that. It's pretty crazy. Already invisible and replaced. Yeah, bro. How much you want to bet he's homophobic and is now trying to project that onto others? Yeah. West Wing is 100% homophobic. Transphobic too. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about LGBTQ people at all. He shows no solidarity towards LGBTQIA plus people. But he will talk about how a car rammed into like all these people, like he's got some moral high ground here. He is absolutely a homophobe. Okay, be careful, Noisy. Don't be so mean. Remember, they still have all the guns, yeah?
And it could be under more stringent safeguards than are apparently contained in this agreement.
A really interesting point. Abdul Aziz, I just want to bring you back in. I mean, Washington, here we're talking about being given preferential treatment to Saudi Arabia. What would you say? Do you think Washington has lost its leverage over Saudi? Do you think that there was a time in the past where Washington could have...
He's one of those guys that will go to like a Trump rally and be on Grindr.
Said, look, if you want civilian plants, then you must do the following. But now it seems to have given Saudi, according to some, a very good deal.
Well, I think what the Saudi ruling elite have successfully done is that they knew what resonates with Donald Trump, which is that this deal is something that is good for your interests. This deal will make you lots of money. And this is really the approach that the Saudis and many others have used.
Bro, if you want to know about the Berlin attack, go to some other place that's talking to it. All of mainstream media is talking about it, but that's not what you care about. You don't care about the Berlin attack. The only reason you care about the Berlin attack is because it was some Muslim guy. But any car ramming incident, any pedophilia by white people like the Epstein files, I bet you haven't spoken about any of that stuff. Like, you don't care about all of the crime that happens in Germany committed by white men. Like, why don't you talk about that? Do you not care about crimes committed by white men?
And this is what I meant when I said earlier that this is a Saudi first approach that kind of overlaps with an American first approach. And I think this is part of it. And this is also why that while Donald Trump may be viewed as problematic for the region, at times also there are opportunities. And so this is exactly an opportunity.
Bro, you're doing the whataboutery. You're doing the whataboutery, buddy. You're doing the whataboutery. This guy is doing the whataboutery. He is a raging white supremacist.
Incoming raid detected.
Hey, Bill Boneless, welcome.
Hope you stick around and hit that follow button.
Welcome, Bill Boneless. Thank you so much for the raid set. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Wow, we are busy tonight. We are busy tonight amplifying marginalized voices. And you know what? What's happening to the Palestinian people should be number one on everyone's list. Not some local crime just because a white supremacist here wants to talk about how bad Islam is. This is all projection. And white supremacy is on the way. Like, this West Wing guy's biggest worry is being replaced. And that's what he thinks about every second of every day. It's all of these brown and black people replacing white people. And that is the breadth of this guy's life and understanding. Is this great replacement theory. And they spend their whole fucking life, the genocide in Gaza, buddy. The genocide in Gaza. The genocide, not the war, the genocide in Gaza. Say it properly. See, I knew you were full of shit. The war in Gaza, that's not a war, it's a genocide. I knew you.
Moreover, I think irrespective of the notion of joining the Abraham Accords, which I don't think Saudi Arabia will join anytime soon, one of the reasons why this is also viewed as a success is the fact, in Saudi Arabia, is the fact that this is actually, I would argue, a blow for the prospect of imminent Saudi-Israeli normalization. We know...
Boothie B, where are you, Boothie? Sorry. Bored. What did you say, Bored? Buddy, it's not a war in Gaza. It's a genocide in Gaza. See, I knew you lied when you said you thought it was a genocide in Gaza. I knew you lied. That's what white supremacists do. They lie. You're a liar. Where are you? What did you say, Board? In the UK, there is a big scandal that's been going on involving Asian men that's been covered by involving girls, I think that's why people have been started pointing out culture more. Bro, there's nothing going on. It's in the UK, 85% of all sexual assaults and crimes of sexual assault against minors are done by white men. Disproportionately. Per capita, white men commit far more crimes than any other race or gender. It's the most crazy thing to say that it's like grooming gangs or whatever. It's stupid. It's like just white supremacist trash. That's why this guy is here. That's why this guy is here. It's because he has nothing to do. This person has nothing to do other than be a fascist.
Know that Donald Trump tweets something today and then tomorrow he will say something else. And I think the whole world knows this. This was kind of used before as leverage over the United States and for Israel in order for Saudi.
Bro, bored. Like, I know you're here for the same bullshit, like, narrative that this guy's spreading. What you're doing is completely wrong. What you're doing is completely wrong and actually quite bigoted and racist. You need to stop doing that because data does not back up what you're saying.
Arabia to recognize Israel. Now that is gone, or that has diminished or decreased, and as a result, the cards that Israel can use in order to incentivize Saudi Arabia to normalize relations with it through the United States is becoming less and less. And that's what I meant by more leverage for Saudi. And I think this puts them in a far better position. The other thing that I would say here is that it is important to note that, I mean, it is best viewed that this program, this deal.
What's my profile, buddy? What's my profile? Say it again. What's my profile?
Does not mean that Saudi Arabia is going to be a nuclear power anytime soon. It wants to be. It doesn't mean it will be anytime soon, because this bet should be viewed as a beginning of an era in a new kind of era of relations in Saudi-American nuclear relations. It will develop, as you mentioned earlier, know-how. It is the beginning of developing the Saudi nuclear industry. This means that more Saudis will begin.
When you out racists like this guy who came in wanting to talk about, how Islam is fucking up Europe or whatever, it's the craziest projection. Like they're so scared of being replaced, and they'll take a crime by a nutcase and they will project it across every single person who belongs to that. Think about it this way, okay? When a white person commits a crime, it's not all white people. That person was, he was just a crazy white guy who wanted to kill people. When a brown person commits a crime, it's that whole society is fucked up. This is how white supremacy and bigotry works. This is how these people work. It's never about the individual who commits the crime when they aren't white. When they aren't white, it's never about the individual. It's about the whole community. When the Sikh guy, for example, it's not just Islamic people. When the Sikh guy committed that crime, the crazy Sikh guy who committed that crime in England, it was the whole Sikh community that got backlash. The whole Sikh community got backlash. It's not just Islamic people that these guys hate. It's all black and brown people. They just are simple racists. They can't understand that there can be crazy people of all colors. And this guy is like here trying to act like this guy has some sort of moral high ground. Bro, stop typing in my chat. You're making yourself look like an idiot. Stop typing in my chat. I think the Nazi live is a couple of swipes away.
To be more trained in this. So while I think the questions of nuclear weapons and nuclear program is important, I think it is viewed from that sense. Moreover, I think it is just the last point that I would say is that
okay, bro. You can rewatch this live on YouTube. You can clip it. You can clip it. You can do whatever you want. What an idiot! Nah, don't mute him. Let him spew his crap. Don't mute him. Let him spew his crap. Let people see who he is.
yes, I think maybe people across the Gulf will say this may be hypocrisy, but I think the conduct of Saudi Arabia is very different than the conduct of Iran. And I think this is something that they have, I think, diplomatically communicated to the world, that we do not hold countries proxy. We do not have countries as hostage.
Bro, Rome, I think you might be a bit of a racist too.
I'm sorry, in a war that doesn't belong to others. So this, I think, diplomatically puts them in a better position to lobby for such advantageous deals.
Okay, let's get this fascist up to the mic. I just want to talk to this fascist. Come up, bro. If you have the balls, come up to the mic. Why did you just turn your mic off? Come up to the mic, bro. No, not you, Rome. You're a simple bigot. I want this other white supremacist up to the mic. Come on, buddy. Request. Come up. Speak to me.
Made some good points there, Abdul Aziz. Simon, I'd like to get your reaction to that. I can see you nodding there, but Abdul Aziz saying that, you know, Saudi Arabia isn't going to become a nuclear powerhouse anytime soon. However, we have had, you know, statements from the Crown Prince saying that if Iran was to develop everything you say means fucking nothing if you don't have the balls to come up to the mic and speak. Its nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia would develop one too. How much of a concern would that be? And are the promises the US is giving that it will oversee any nuclear enrichment good enough?
Well, I think there's a number of things going on here. I think we've got to untangle the program and the process through which a nuclear weapon is developed. This isn't something that can happen overnight. This is about, as Abdulaziz is saying, this is about developing skills, know-how, technology, a whole industry. And the idea...
There he is. See, just these people are pussies too. Bro, come up to the mic, buddy.
Of developing a bomb overnight, despite what the likes of Benjamin Netanyahu have been saying for decades now, is not a viable read of a situation. This takes time. It's not just going to transpire that the Saudis will get a nuclear weapon by virtue of having a civilian nuclear program. It takes a good deal of time. That being said, the protocols of oversight, I think there are questions to be asked.
Yeah, racists are usually pussies, yeah.
Of course, we've not seen the final deal. We've not seen the text of it. We don't know for a fact that it's actually going to get off the ground in light of the diplomacy via Truth Social that Donald Trump has resorted to once again. But in terms of process and in terms of oversight, I think there are questions that do need to be asked. If what we
Buddy, you keep saying I did it live. I clearly said that I am not covering fucking Berlin because of the genocide. Other news sources are covering it. I don't care about covering that crime. I care about the genocide. You're taking my word. I didn't say T attack either. I just said I don't care about covering that because of the genocide. And you're here just lopping as some fucking moral dude. And you are, I don't give a fuck about covering that because of the genocide. That's what I said. Buddy, come up to the mic and speak to me. Come up to the mic.
Hearing is accurate in the sense that there doesn't seem to be the IAEA oversight. There is no requirement of...
PogChamp, you're covering a nuclear deal and you are a... Bro, yeah, and I've got West Bank coming up here, dipshit. We're literally going to the West Bank next. You said I don't give a fuck. No, I didn't say I don't give a fuck about the terrorist attack, dipshit. I said I don't care about that because I'm covering the genocide.
for the Saudis to join to adhere to the additional protocols that one would normally be expected to sign up to when developing a civilian nuclear program.
Way too much oxygen.
And we don't know what the actual level of U.S. oversight over this program is. So there are, I think, procedural questions that do need to be asked about all of this. But I think just to reassert what Abdulaziz is saying, this is not about Saudi getting a bomb necessarily. There are other ways that the Saudis could have got a nuclear weapon should they be wanting one, I would argue. And this is, I would argue, far more about a civilian program, developing an industry, diversification.
Yeah, UK gangs are not happening, buddy. Why aren't you talking about white people's crimes in the UK? 85% are white men committing sexual assaults. Why aren't you talking about that?
Prestige.
You're covering for the majority of sexual assaults, especially on minors. Why are you doing that?
Perhaps as well, part of the nuclear prestige that one gets from a civilian nuclear program, and really pushing forward with a different element of Vision 2030 after a number of small setbacks, I would argue.
We talk about lots of questions to be asked. Barbara,
I want to be a good boy.
Briefly mentioned the Abraham Accords, something that we do need to delve into. When the agreement obviously first announced, there was no mention of Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. But we then later got a statement to say that President Trump had said that this deal was on the condition that that Saudi joined that. What, in your eyes, I think a lot of people are going to be asking the question, what happened here? Was it always part of the agreement? Or do you think it was something that Donald Trump perhaps backtracked on? Was there a U-turn? Or could he have been listening to somebody?
Oh, my goodness. Donald Trump changing his mind. When have we seen that? Look, there was a lot of criticism.
You will find per capita. I'll
when
show
the
you
leak
per
came
capita
out
stats.
about the agreement,
We've got a couple of chuds
it
in
didn't
chat.
require Saudi Arabia to normalize relations with Israel. Criticism from Israel and from Israel supporters in the United States. And of course, that had been a condition set by the Biden administration for a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. But look, it's not realistic under current circumstances. However, things can change. Israel is having elections soon, and Bibi Netanyahu will perhaps not be prime minister anymore. And certainly the right-wing government that he has led is likely to change. Israeli policy hopefully will change toward Gaza, toward Lebanon, toward the West Bank. And that could conceivably make it more palatable for Saudi Arabia to establish relations with Israel if it indeed begins a process of trying to meet Palestinian aspirations, not just for statehood, but for simple dignity.
The whole thing about these chuds in Europe, like PogChamp on YouTube, we've got this West Wing guy, and we've got this Rome dude in Israel. Like, I think the Rome dude, I think we can just block. But they're literally trying to paint the genocide happening against tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, millions of Palestinians as the same as a crime in Berlin. This is the problem with white supremacy. They are deeply, deeply racist people. And that guy lied when he said that he thinks what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. He just doesn't. He actually doesn't think that. Just get rid of this. This Rome guy is a dumbass. Block that too.
So a lot can change. And of course, the enrichment is supposed to be studied for a couple of years. So that gives time. It also gives time for the end of the Trump administration and perhaps a different American administration, which also might have a different view about this.
And also, I think we do have to remember that this deal still needs to be approved by Congress. Barbara, do you think it would go through? Do you think it could be blocked?
That's less of an impediment because it has to be blocked by a veto-proof.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, they always move the goalposts. It's like, so a crazy ass dude drove his car into a festival, killed one person in Berlin. Of course, when they found out that he was a Muslim person, now this white guy has come into the chat, and as all these white dudes do, will make the whole Muslim community responsible for that crime. But the bulk of the crime committed by white people, you will never see even a single one of those crimes being extrapolated to the whole white community. You don't call white people all pedos, even though most pedos in Europe are white people. You know? Like, it's the craziest thing that these people do. It's just incredibly racist. And they come in here and they try and find some way to discredit, to make you look like some kind of. He came in here and he profiled me. He put me in the same box, as the person who. He put me in the same box. He put me in the same box. He came in here, saw a brown guy with a keffiyeh, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's Muslim." He started calling me an Islamist and all of this stuff. When we talk about like various subjects here that are meant to be amplifying marginalized voices. We've been speaking about Palestine today. We've been speaking about Gaza today. And these people come in, and this idiot PogChamp on YouTube is also piling on like an idiot. I don't know what the fuck this guy's on about, but that guy's an idiot too, a white supremacist idiot. Same. All of these people are exactly the same.
Majority, 2/3 of Congress would have to say that they don't want this agreement. And
like all these white dudes do. Yeah, bro, white supremacists. These white supremacists are white dudes. No, I'm not going to reread your other comment board. You're just another one of those racists. I'm sorry to say, but I think you are another anti-Islam racist.
And that's a high bar for anything. I mean, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action with Iran got through because there weren't 2/3 majorities in both houses to block it. So I don't
see, like, this is where white privilege is such a big problem in our world. In order to change this world, like, white supremacy and white privilege need to be dismantled. When I talk about white supremacy, I'm not saying all white people are white supremacists. But when I am talking about white privilege, I am saying that all white people have white privilege. And this is the problem with people like Boothie B, who get really, sensitive about subjects around whiteness and white supremacy. They hate it. They hate when people talk about it because they just can't stomach that white supremacy is a big problem in our world today. It's the most violent ideology in the world today. And that just does not sit right with them. It doesn't sit right with them. Snowflakes.
I think that's a huge impediment, but there will be a debate which will give an opportunity for proponents and opponents of such a deal to speak. And that perhaps could affect also.
West Wing cries more with me because I'm white. Apparently, I'm a traitor. I'm actually not racist isn't actually, giving me the best vibes, bro.
The way this goes.
I just want to ask all three of you.
I'm actually not racist. I have brown friends is not the that is such a racist thing to say. I'm not racist, guys. I have brown friends.
What if Saudi Arabia doesn't sign the Abraham Accord? We've spoken about it briefly.
Oh, look, the Chud on YouTube. Look, the Chud on YouTube, the little fragile snowflake. Look at him. Look at him.
US clearly trying to maintain relationships with Saudi Arabia during this volatile time in the Middle East. But what if it doesn't go ahead? Of course, Saudi ships are being targeted. Oil, a huge
See, West Wing never ever thought that it was a genocide. That was a lie. You lied, bro. You lied. No one can take you seriously.
For the country at the moment will be taking a really big hit. Could this push Saudi Arabia towards some of those other powerhouses we mentioned earlier, Russia, China? Abdulaziz, what do you think?
In my opinion, I think while Saudi Arabia develops relations with the United States, it does not want to negate relations with other states. Previously, I had kind of written a paper where I discussed this notion of Saudi viewing the world or this multipolar system, the international system, as I would put it, an asymmetric multipolar lens. And what I mean by that is that this is where Saudi Arabia views the United States as its main security partner, as its main economic partner.
Guys, I got called racist against whites again. Fuck, bro. White fragility will never, ever cease to surprise me. Calling out the crimes of white supremacy makes these fucking people so fragile that they can't even fucking understand. They lash out. They project. What is racism against white people, bro? What does that mean? These people don't even know what racism is.
But not the only exclusive partner. So it will still work with the United States. It still prefers the United States, wants to work with the United States, but it is becoming very, very clear that it does not want to shut the door at the prospects of working with other strategic partners. And this is what gives the Saudi kind of this flexibility and durability within this evolving multipolar system that's happening in the world. This, in my opinion, I think is a question regarding also, with diversification. I think diversification is the main theme here. It does not want to put itself closely with one camp, especially when it comes to looking at the war with Iran, for example.
No, West Wing, you're lying again. You're lying again. It wasn't ban Jewish fans. It was ban that club from Israel that was full of like hopped up violent people. Why are you projecting so hard, bro? Why are you projecting so hard? Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, Iran still views Saudi Arabia as part of this American camp.
Yeah.
And so at times, trying to diversify its relations may somehow deepen or strengthen Saudi's security position a little.
No, it wasn't ban Jewish fans at all. See, you're conflating Judaism with Zionism, which is itself anti-Semitic. Buddy, you're just a racist. You're just a simple racist. I know who you are. Come up to the mic. Say it with your chest. Come up to the mic, bro. Why are you so scared?
Okay. Abdulaziz, I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you there. I do have to hear from our other two guests. Barbara, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I just actually completed a...
Apologize to the Sikhs, your people genocided and colonized, give them Khalistan. Bro, you don't give a fuck about the Sikhs, PogChamp. Shut the fuck... Honestly, like this guy's acting like he cares about the Sikhs. When you talk about the genocide white people have committed, this guy is now talking about the Sikhs. It banned a particular fan group of that club that UEFA itself said were very violent. It wasn't Jewish. You are conflating Judaism with Zionism again. And that is a terrible thing to do, West Wing. And that shows that you're actually very anti-Semitic.
Excuse me, a paper on China and the region after the war. And there really is no alternative to the United States for security. But in economic terms, I mean, Saudi Arabia could buy the reactors from China. Why not? It has chosen so far not.
No, that was the argument made in Parliament. Just because your government is deeply, deeply complicit in the genocide in Palestine, they are obviously going to side with Israel in every possible way. Your government is complicit in genocide. they have aided and abetted Israel in the genocide in Palestine. That you lied and said that you thought it was a genocide. You lied about it. Why did you lie about it? Why did you lie about you thinking that it was a genocide in Gaza? Why did you lie about it?
But there are alternatives. And I think the Trump administration is certainly well aware of that.
Okay. And
the Abraham Accord is all about the normalization of those states to accept Israel. How many non-Jewish Zionists are there? It doesn't matter. Like, there are many. Do you know about Jewish Voice for Peace? That whole organization is... Oh, you mean how many non-Jewish Zionists there are? Well, look at all of the evangelical movement. That's 10 million people. Andy Burnham has been a PM for less than a week. He's been involved. He's involved us directly in genocide. Yes, he has already. Andy Burnham is part of the same party that's committing this, and that's the problem. See, West Wing, bro, no one gives a fuck about your sympathy. Genocide's genocide. It's not about having sympathy. It's about calling out a genocide. That's your problem. That's where you think you have privilege by saying that, I have sympathy. It's like saying, oh, I want to have sympathy. I want to have sympathy for the Jews in the Holocaust, but I can't have that sympathy. That's what you sound like. It's not about having sympathy. It's a genocide. You're either like on the side of genocide or you're not. Yeah, see? I always knew that, West Wing. Why didn't you just say that early on instead of like LARPing like some morally correct person? Like, you should have just said you were a fascist. Isn't the majority of Zionists non-Jewish? Yeah, majority of Zionists are non-Jewish, yes. But the majority of Jews are Zionists. That's where it kind of becomes the problem. And but there is a large enough contingent of Jews who are not Zionist in order to warrant a real voice. Even if it was one person, you should listen to them. Hey, Anne, welcome. You can't conflate a political movement with a religion. You just can't. No matter how much people want to do it, it is that conflation that can't be done. And there are many Jewish people who do not agree with that conflation.
Simon, I mean, is this unstable region becoming even more so?
Yeah, it's a region in flux, of course, and the conflict is certainly not helping it. But with regard to this specific deal, I would envisage it happening. I would envisage, even if the Saudis do not sign the Abraham Accords or join up to them, and I do not think that they would.
See, the thing like these PogChamp or West Wing, this is the unequivocal fact. There has been European colonization was and still is the largest man-made human suffering ever. Nothing comes close. The amount of people murdered, the amount of wealth stolen that continues to be stolen, European colonization on the foundations of white supremacy and the Christian patriarchy is the most violent thing that has happened to the human race. 600 years of violence. 600 years of violence. And this is the problem with these people. They just don't like hearing that. They're trying to make this thing about Islamism, and it's just not true. They are right now unable to acknowledge the crimes of European colonization, unable to acknowledge it.
Will right now or anytime soon without those steps taken that MBS has made unequivocally clear about the Palestinian statehood. I think that the Americans and the Saudis will reach an agreement here for a number of reasons, but mostly because I think it's in both their interests. As Aziz was saying, it's a Saudi first, American first approach. Donald Trump knows that he wants to keep the Saudis firmly on side. He wants to keep the Saudis.
What do you mean? How does it compare to the Native American Holocaust? That was European colonization, Anna. That was the British who went to North America and killed everybody. That's what I'm telling you. European colonization is 600 years.
Under a U.S. security umbrella. The Saudis have got a broadly good deal. They know that they can get a good deal from Donald Trump right now. And so I imagine that it will happen. I think that Donald...
No, you're lying, Westwing. You're lying. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? You lied about it being a genocide, that you agree with that it's a genocide in Gaza. Bro, come up to the mic. Come up to the mic and talk to me. Why are you scared to come up to the mic?
Donald Trump is trying to reverse engineer some of the terms of the deal, but ultimately I think that this deal will get done. There'll be a 2-year period to reimagine, to take stock of things, but the deal will happen, I would imagine.
Okay, Abdulaziz, I can see you want to quickly jump in.
Just 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
What Saudi Arabia does view in Israel is that Saudi Arabia views Israel within a broader American file.
Why are there so many snowflakes in chat today? Bro, European colonization hasn't ended. European colonization hasn't ended. It's still going. What are you guys talking about? Do you think white supremacy just ceased to be? White supremacy still commits the most amount of crimes in the world today. I mean, who do you think is bombing the Middle East? Like, what are you guys... It's literal millions of people being killed every few years, just being completely murdered. Like, what? Do you think European colonization ended?
Unlike other Gulf countries. And this is why I think the deal will also go. Israel and normalization of Israel is currency between Saudi-American relations. And that's why I think it's not going to be an obstacle. Joining the Abraham Accords is not going to be an obstacle. And that's why I think it will continue.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you to all of our guests in Riyadh, Washington, D.C. and Lancaster. Good to have you on the programme. And thank you for watching too. You can see the programme anytime by visiting our website, aljazeera.com.
So this Saudi deal is quite important. I think one of the biggest sort of... I think Saudi Arabia is going to sign the normalization leave. What are you talking about, bro? I'm not lying. I am an atheist. Dipshit. I'm not religious. Why do you keep saying that? It's just like so stupid. Like this guy he came in here and he's like, oh, you're Muslim. And now he's leaving because I asked him to come up. And I asked him to come up to the mic and now he's leaving. Oh, what a pussy. Why does no one talk about what is happening to literal white children in the... Bro, fuck. Who is this guy? Which platform is that dude in? Hold on. Oh, we've got some real... we've got some real white supremacists.
And for further discussion, go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/AJ Inside.
Oh, West Wing. He thinks both Israel and Palestine supporters are dirty. Oh, this guy is the biggest pussy, man. Honestly. Oh, gosh. He should come up to the mic, but he's just too much of a pussy. How do you stay so calm? Oh, these chuds are here all the time. When they see a brown face on camera, they get agitated and they come here and they try to be racist. Like, that's the thing. They don't like brown faces having a voice. Okay. Now let's look at the West Bank. Hey, Alexi, welcome. Let's look at the West Bank. Hey, Libra, welcome. And what Israel is doing to the Palestinians in the West Bank.
Israel says it's planning a major military operation in the occupied West Bank. Settler attacks on Palestinians are intensifying and becoming increasingly violent. As Israel is gearing up for an election, how does this escalation serve Benjamin Netanyahu and his far-right partners? This is Inside.
Bro, you've lost. Just move on. You're lying to everybody. You're lying to everybody. Why do you want to stick around? Like, what's the point? Either come up to the mic or leave. You're taking up oxygen. Come up to the mic, bro.
Story.
Hey, Def not a Blizzard, welcome.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Per Nyberg. The Israeli military has stepped up its operations in the occupied West.
It's not a literal quote. You're lying. It's not a literal quote. You're lying, bro. Come up to the mic. It was not a straight question. And that was not the quote. You're lying.
Bank storming several Palestinian towns and villages. The government is also fast-tracking the expansion of illegal settlements and outposts. At the same time, Israeli settlers are intensifying their attacks on Palestinians. Well, this escalation is nothing new, but it comes just 3 months before general elections in Israel. Opinion polls suggest Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could lose power. Land grabs and accelerating the establishment of new illegal settlements sit well with his right-wing support base. We'll discuss with our guests how this latest violence in the occupied West Bank could serve Netanyahu's political ambitions. First, though, this report from Mike.
He wanted to make one last point before he went, so I blocked him.
It's a moment for prayer and reflection as a Palestinian community in the occupied West Bank buries more of its fathers and sons. Killed by Israeli bullets fired by both settlers and the military in a confrontation in the village of Tal that also killed 2 Israeli soldiers.
Killing people by accidentally spreading smallpox is not a genocide. No, but taking your boats over there and then stealing their shit, murdering them while giving them smallpox is a genocide.
What's happening in Tel and what's happened in other villages is the result of settler violence. No one is stopping them.
Within hours of the shootings, the Israeli Prime Minister ordered increased military operations in the occupied West Bank, laying siege to Nablus and surrounding areas. Israeli troops even stormed a hospital to arrest and drag off wounded Palestinians. A joint statement from Benjamin Netanyahu and his defense minister's office announced the accelerated legalization of farm outposts and establishment of new ones. All Israeli outposts and settlements are illegal under international.
I can't show the video, bro. TikTok will ban.
Law. Settler attacks are a daily occurrence, with the recent UN report finding they increased annually.
Yeah, archive genocide is crazy. Very few natives were killed through weapons of war. They were allies of different factions of British, French. PogChamp, bro, I don't know what history you're reading, but white supremacy has done so much damage to the world. Like, I'm talking about billions of people, hundreds of millions of people, maybe even 1 billion people killed. White supremacy is the largest man-made human suffering. European colonization is the largest man-made human suffering, hands down. Nothing comes close. And yeah, you can hide behind whatever narrative that you think you've created, like think you've learned, but there is way more than enough evidence to clearly show that European colonization mass murdered so many different people around the world. Like the best thing for you to do is stop denying and acknowledge what I'm assuming your ancestors did. I'm not sure you're a white guy or not, but you certainly have the fragility of a guy who doesn't understand what white supremacy has done to the world. There is no one action that constitutes a genocide. It is a combination of actions, rhetoric. Yeah. Exactly. There was schools with indigenous kids. There were schools where indigenous kids were stolen and put in with the explicit goal of erasing culture. Genocide has more ways of existing than guns and disease. Childlike understanding of history in that chatter. Yeah. Bro, it's not about understanding germ theory. If you read what the Doctrine of Discovery said, they didn't get on those boats. They didn't get on those boats to just sail for no reason, right? They got on those boats to go take slaves, to go murder other people and take their stuff. They didn't go on those boats to just sail the seas. That's the point. It's the intent.
By 130% in 2025.
It's a conflict about changing the demographic. They extend roads, they dig the land.
Hey, freedom
They're
for my
trying
family.
to impose
Welcome.
a new reality. The people are rejecting this totally. The people here were born and raised on the spirit of resistance, and they are still resisting.
Nah, the Netherlands banning settler stuff, very symbolic. I mean, it has to impact the state of Israel, or it just doesn't matter.
Illegal settlements have expanded significantly in recent years, and hundreds of thousands of Israeli settlers now live on stolen Palestinian land. With elections just 3 months away, opinion polls suggest Netanyahu's Likud party is struggling. Competition for the right-wing voter base is fierce. Rights groups warn the occupied West Bank is on a knife's edge, with the Israeli military enabling and actively supporting settlers, waging what's being called state-sponsored violence. Mike Lappel.
The Doctrine of Discovery was literally a Pope approved document or text that basically said it is for the Christians in Europe to take land. Like, they can just steal other people's land. And it's just because they are supreme. Whiteness is superior to everyone else. Like, it literally states it. If these guys were just sailing around giving viruses to people with no intent, the Doctrine of Discovery wouldn't even exist. Or Gomez and his Desidera's transcript, his transcript wouldn't exist. Like, you can't just keep ignoring real history. You can try and gaslight people on like TikTok panels, but you can't gaslight this crew here.
Al Jazeera for Inside Story.
Now let's bring in our guests into this conversation. Joining us from Tel Aviv is Alon Pinkas, a former Israeli ambassador and consul general in New York. In the occupied West Bank, Sari Bashi, a human rights lawyer and executive director of the Public Committee Against Torture in Israel. Also in Tel Aviv, Merav Sunshine, a senior analyst at the International Crisis Group, whose research focuses on Israel and Palestine. A warm welcome to all three of you. Sari Bashi, I want to start with you because you're there in the occupied West Bank. How would you describe the atmosphere right now?
It's been bad for a while, and it's getting worse. The context is that for the last few years, the travel restrictions and level of settler as well as military violence have skyrocketed.
me as an original Dutch guy, the government has to do more. They have to dismiss the actions of Israel. Oh yeah, 100%. I think they have to do more in terms of like sanctioning the state. You see how Europe is tiptoeing around sanctioning the state of Israel? They don't want to do that. They'll sanction the state of Iran, but they won't sanction Israel. They'll sanction Russia, but they won't sanction Israel. And they get around it by tiptoeing around it and talking about settler violence and all of this. But that settler violence is also sponsored by the state of Israel. So like what Europe is doing is just waiting until the genocide's finished so that they can claim some sort of moral high ground. Europe just doesn't want to do anything. It just wants the problem to go away. They're hoping that that Israel can finish the job quickly.
So it's very difficult to get around, to move from place to place, because most entrances and exits to Palestinian towns have been closed.
Hey, Gail, welcome. So how do I see the future? The future is in the hands of the people, okay? I think in my honest opinion, I think every Western nation should 100%, people in every Western nation should 100% start pursuing corporations who virtue signal about human rights should be pursued in legal ways to hold companies to account for doing business with those supporting or perpetrating genocide. I think we need to do a hell of a lot more as the common people, as public. Organizations like the ICC are ineffective. They're ineffective. They're not doing anything. They're not stopping the genocide. They are, doing these things that are very symbolic in nature, but they're not stopping the genocide. They have no power to stop it. So us as citizens of the world need to hold, I think, corporations and institutions to account as much as possible through law, through legal systems. And any company that has virtue signaled about human rights, and these days almost all companies do, we have to take it upon ourselves. We have to take it upon ourselves to hold these companies to account. That's my mission. And, I'm working on a way to do that, but that's my mission, is like, okay, these international organizations just aren't working, and we just can't continue to rely on these failing institutions. We as people need to start being educated about how legal systems work, how accountability works, and we need to take these companies on in order to hold them accountable. And I'm telling you, this is what I'm working on personally, but I think everyone should be doing it. Hey, Luciferian, I think everyone in the West, because the West is the main sponsor of Israel's genocide, I think everyone in the West has to start taking this upon themselves to hold companies and the corporate structure to account. Capitalism itself is the main reason why Palestinians are being genocided. It's about profit making. Ultimately, it's about controlling that land. It's about controlling those resources. So if we can't hold our own corporations to account, we're fucked. So here's what I want everyone here to understand. We as citizens have power. We have legal power. We need to use all legal avenues to hold companies to account. These are large companies, like in Aotearoa, New Zealand, for example, Air New Zealand, or Deloitte, or PwC. We need to do this. And it has to be done in a way where the system itself takes care the legal system takes care of businesses like this. We have to be that educated about this. And if you are not game to do that and hold these companies to account who are perpetuating these genocides and wealth extraction, then we have no hope, because the ICC and ICJ aren't working. They're not stopping the genocide. So it's time. We need to take accountability for this. The people need to take accountability for this now.
Closed off. So people need to make very long detours, going north for 40 kilometers only to go south for another 40 kilometers to get to where they need to go, when it otherwise would be very quick. Settler attacks have reached the point where now on average...
We have to exhaust every single avenue we have available to us in order to try and stop this genocide. We are not at a point, we can't wait anymore. We can't wait. Too many lives are at stake, and none of our institutions are working. Boothie B, are you white? Are you white? Would you consider yourself white? Would you consider yourself white? Simple question. Do you consider yourself white? Yeah. Do you agree that you have white privilege? I did shave there. Do you agree that you have white privilege?
Six times every day there are settler attacks, and 3 of those on average lead to Palestinians being injured. Sometimes we see worse than being injured. And there's a feeling that both the military as well as settlers are closing in, particularly on Palestinian villages.
What's it like for you raising a family in this kind of environment?
Look, I mean, like any parent, right? I try to protect my kids, and on the one hand, explain to them what they need to know when they see checkpoints, I usually am able to keep them out of areas that are likely to be friction points with settlers. The settlers are more attacking villages that are close to outposts and settlements. So if you kind of stay out of that immediate area, you have some measure of protection. But it's difficult. It's difficult, and also it's interesting for me to see how quickly my kids can understand concepts that grown-ups struggle to get. So my kids understand that the settlers and the military...
Typing out a long message, probably. It usually happens because they need to explain their position on why they don't think they have white privilege.
are pushing at Palestinian areas in order to try to make Palestinians leave. And I think for grown-ups, it gets, the story becomes convoluted in a way that actually isn't necessary. It's very simple. There's a very high level of violence, officially by the military.
Running it through ChatGPT, yeah.
And then unofficially, but state-sponsored by the settlers. And the goal is to push Palestinians out of areas that the Israeli government wants to settle. But that narrative can get lost sometimes among grown-ups. For children, it's clear.
Elon Pinkas in Tel Aviv. Do you agree with that?
Hey, Elon Pinkas. It's been a while since Elon Pinkas came on.
That this is state-sponsored to get the Palestinians to leave?
Yeah, I do. It may not be an official policy. It may not be, there may not be a plan in place. But this is the idea, which is why what we're looking at it as a crisis as far as the government is concerned, is an opportunity. Now, to be practical, only very few Palestinians are actually going to leave. I mean, this is patently impractical and unfeasible to actually expel a large number of Palestinians. But the government, either by encouraging or by looking the other way, is effectively turning this into a legitimate means or a legitimate policy.
This is still the best sound.
Thank you, friends.
And trying to create two things, Per. An irreversible reality on the ground in which settlements and outposts and illegal outposts, call it what you want, these are all euphemisms, and Palestinian
Freedom for my family. Welcome.
Are so intertwined that it would make a Palestinian state not viable, discontiguous, and just impossible to ever implement. And the second is, and I'm sure we're going to get into that later, Per, in our conversation, as far as the right wing, the extreme right wing is concerned, and by the way, Mr. Netanyahu and the extreme right wing are the same. I mean, the distinction is false and artificial. He is exactly, he speaks in less bellicose or less incendiary language than the extreme right wing, but he's doing the same thing.
Guys, if you're in chat, please check out Freedom for My Family's profile, a long time sort of part of the community, has been part of the community for a while. They have a donation link on their profile. If you can't give, share their content. Or follow them. But yeah, they're on the ground in Gaza right now. So Freedom for My Family, please help them out. Hey, Ivan.
They see it from an electoral point of view, less than 100 years away. Less than 100 days away from the election. They see this as an opportunity to create another front. There was Gaza, there was Lebanon, there was Iran, there was Syria, there were the Houthis in Yemen, and now we have the West Bank.
But Alon, let me jump in here. For you as a former ambassador and government official, are you comfortable with this?
Comfortable? I'm anything but comfortable. Absolutely not comfortable. You just heard me say, what I said. Absolutely not comfortable. I think this should. My only regret is, Per, is that the election is not focused on this. That none of the opposition parties is raising this as an issue.
Bro, this person is gonna fucking type a long ass message, aren't they? Oh Jesus! It was such an easy question. You're a white person. Do you agree that you have white privilege? It's like, why the fuck does it take so long to answer that question? Like, this is the problem, right? Like, how can you be a white person and not understand that you have white privilege? Why is it so hard to understand that fact, man? Like, we're literally watching on the news, like the Berlin incident being reported with more empathy and given more time than a genocide of brown people. Like, what the fuck do you guys need to understand? You know, like, it's in our faces. White privilege is in our faces.
Merab Sunshine, there was a statement from the Palestinian Foreign Ministry talking about how official Israeli incitement continues to fuel and encourage these crimes. Is that your understanding of the root causes of this violence?
I mean, it is official Israeli policy. This government has a finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, who is...
Something happened in Berlin. Yeah, a dude drove a car into a crowd in Berlin. One person is killed so far. A few, I think like 20 people or something are in the hospital. Horrific stuff. But it's like, some dude came here before and was like, oh, why don't you talk about that? I'm like, bro, I'm talking about a genocide. I'm talking about, he wanted me to talk about it because it was a Muslim person. It was a Muslim person who did it. And they wanted to go, oh, see, Islam is really bad, you know, because a crazy fucking dude drove a car into a crowd. It's terrible. Like, this is the kind of rhetoric that's in the world right now. Yeah, the news is straight onto it because, yeah, it's a Muslim dude.
Also a minister in the defense ministry. He came into this government with a very clear plan. He has made it his mission and has in large part succeeded, not only in accelerating settlements, but in making it clear that he'll do everything in his power to prevent Palestinian state, which means preventing Palestinian territorial country.
Yeah, if I was judging white people by their worst, I mean, every pedo in fucking Europe is like mostly white people. Like, if you look at the statistics, white people are committing more, but no one conflates a white person's crime with their whole community. Okay? No one does that because you just don't do that. You also, like, and it's not just Muslim people, like a Sikh guy. You remember that Sikh guy, the crazy dude in England who stabbed a white dude and killed him? Like, white people, like Tommy Robinson's people, the right-wingers, were blaming the whole Sikh community. This happens to every brown and black community. The whole community is judged when a crazy dude commits a crime. No one ever conflates one crime done by a white person to all white people. No one does that.
Contiguity, livelihood, movement, access. And that was before October 7th. And after October 7th, it gave all the more legitimacy. He has armed settlers, him and Ben Gvir.
Like, look at what happened with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk got shot by a Mormon, a white Mormon guy in Utah. Okay? A white Mormon guy in Utah. What did... Allegedly. No, man. Like, it's the craziest thing. They blamed everyone else other than, like, that guy. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't understand the world right now, eh? Like, the media is just so bad. The media is so bad.
The national security minister.
Yeah, immediately it was he had a trans girlfriend. Immediately it was about a trans girlfriend or something. Like, they tried to deflect from the fact that he was a Mormon dude, white Mormon dude who shot this person. It had nothing to do with, probably nothing to do with him being a Mormon or him being some white dude. But that's who he was. White Mormon from a conservative family. Yeah. And the media immediately started to say, like, crazy shit unrelated to the shooter.
So this actually is very much official policy. They talk about Greater Israel. Netanyahu talks about security control from the river to the sea. So it's no longer implicit. It's not something that's hinted at. This is very clear. And then in the media, for example, which can be very critical of Netanyahu, but in the media, they talk about it as if there was a terror attack against Israelis and 2 Israelis were killed. But that's not what happened. What happened was Israeli armed militias in illegal settlements are going and rampaging and vandalizing and harassing and in some cases killing Palestinians. And when they try some kind of self-defense in which they have very little recourse because they don't have arms, they don't have a state, they don't have a police force, then they are immediately incriminated, and then the settler rampages get worse. The IDF incursions get worse. I mean, so it's really astonishing how little recourse they have and how much they are still blamed.
Meirav, you heard Alon there saying it's a pity that the election isn't sooner. Do you think that the Israeli public, are they comfortable with this kind of development?
That issue is somewhat nuanced because there's a large sector of Israeli society, the ones who are kind of liberal, secular, inside the center of Israel, who don't go to the West Bank, who don't think about the West Bank, who don't necessarily know what's happening in the West Bank. And the information that they do get is very much filtered through a problematic media that doesn't give them the actual information, as I was saying. So a lot of Israelis just don't want to be troubled by it. Some of them clearly feel like settlements, might be an impediment to a future peace deal. But for a long time, they've just become a consensus. And the far right has filled a vacuum.
Ban nuclear weapons worldwide. Or, here's another idea. Oh, bloody, life goes on. Hey. Life goes on. Did I get the song right? Anyway, here's another idea. A little different to banning nuclear weapons worldwide. How about we give nuclear weapons to everybody? All countries get a nuclear weapon. So here's the thing. At the next UN General Assembly, they all walk in and they get a little goodie bag, okay? Like in the goodie bag, they'll have like a Labubu keychain themed to their country. They'll get like a little book and a little notepad with a pen, and then a nuclear warhead. All countries. Like that's in their goodie bag. And they can go away, build their nuclear weapons, and that's it. Done. Different to your idea.
Vacuum of Israelis who don't know or don't care. And they've led for the last 20 years a policy that is very, very explicit. A different government is not going to necessarily reverse the settlement project. It's very much a national
Djibouti
project of over a half a century in Israel. It's also considered by many to be a security issue, even though it's not, doesn't provide security in any way. But that's a consensus in Israeli society. On settler violence specifically, though, and on the acceleration of illegal outposts, I think it is possible that a different government could rein that in, if nothing else than because of the international sanctions and opprobrium that it has.
I'm just throwing it out there, folks. I'm just throwing it out there because I don't think we're de-nuking the world. Yo, this vertical mode is kind of dope. I can see your super smooth skin and luscious body. Yeah, it's very luscious at the moment. I need to lose some weight. It would be easier, yeah. I don't like the vertical, I see. But the US would still use them. After all, our countries did use the only 2 nukes against a country. Yeah. Pandora's box is open, guys.
Has been getting.
Sari, you heard there that the Israelis are calling this terrorism, what's been happening over in the occupied West Bank. But there was also this statement from the Palestinian Foreign Ministry talking about the escalation of settler terrorism. So both sides are accusing each other of terrorism. Also,
the most white supremacist thing that's done at the moment, and libs, a lot of libs do this too, is say things like, oh, that country is very violent, they shouldn't have nukes. You know, like Americans do this, the West does this, right? Oh, we shouldn't give those countries nukes because they're very violent. They're underdeveloped and violent, they shouldn't have nukes. Why are they underdeveloped? Why are they that way? It didn't happen in a vacuum, did it? It was because of Western extractionism. What the West is essentially saying is, we fucked up their country and they're angry at us. So if they get nukes, they're going to launch it at us. It's the age-old projection of like, they will do to us what we did to them. They will do to us what we did to them. That's why this great replacement theory has become such a big deal. That's why this great replacement theory has become such a big deal, and why white people are, like white supremacists, are so scared to become minorities, because they know how whiteness has treated minorities. You know, they know how whiteness has treated minorities. The fear is them being treated the same way. And that is that fear. That's where it comes from. It's crazy, man. Like, the projection in all of these things is just, it's so palpable.
Also, the HRW, Human Rights Watch, they have described this as a powder keg waiting to explode. How dangerous is this situation right now?
I think powder keg is a good analogy, a good image, because for the past 2.5 years in particular, there's been an escalation of settler violence. There has been a small but noteworthy contingency of Israelis engaging in protective presence. So these are volunteers who just show up in Palestinian villages.
But how do you assign Security Council seats without nukes? Kidding, mostly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, India is not on the Security Council. Pakistan isn't on the Security Council. North Korea isn't on the Security Council. Israel isn't on the Security Council. So, yeah, it's happened before. There is precedent for not having a seat on the Security Council and having nukes. So, isn't there the age-old tradition of the oppressed becoming the oppressor too, though? Are you being fragile there, Agad? That sounds like fragility to me. If the fear of these countries is that the oppressed will become the oppressor, then the oppressor, which you are acknowledging, right? So whiteness, you're acknowledging that whiteness is the oppressor, which is nice. You've acknowledged it. Good on you. If that is really an issue for white supremacy, then shouldn't white supremacy approach whatever the next chapter with empathy and understanding rather than violence? Because history says that the oppressor also uses violence before they get overthrown. Why doesn't white supremacy change that? Why doesn't white supremacy change that model? If history is so important and historical trends are so important for you.
So that when settlers come, it'll be less likely that they'll harm Palestinians, including in some cases taking blows from settlers.
The really important one to look at is Europe at the moment, right? Like Europe, Western Europe in particular, colonized the whole world, raped and pillaged, stole, and continues to hold on to that wealth, continues to exploit labor around the world. This is a great time while the world is moving into a more multipolar configuration. This is a great time for Europe to reach out, open its doors, and deal with the situation, this changing environment with empathy, and start to build long-term relationships without, committing genocide. But what's Europe doing? It's not holding its genocidal trade partner to account. Europe is starting to close its borders. Over 1,000 people already drowning in the Mediterranean because Europe, funding gangs and militants in Libya and Tunisia. Europe should be leading the way in reconciliation, in the decolonization movement. Europe should be upfront about it. But instead, Europe is doing Europe things, even as it loses power in the world. And that's not the right way to change a historical trend. I would say Europe should lead with empathy and open its arms to the rest of the world instead of continuing to try and maintain a sense of control over the world that it doesn't have anymore.
settlers, knowing that it's safer for them to be a buffer, because there is a bit of a filter in what a settler will do to an Israeli Jew that doesn't exist for Palestinians. But it's inevitable that at some point Palestinians are going to try to defend themselves as well. And then I worry that we're going to see more incidents like we saw on Friday.
Bro, the British Museum loaned, I'm not even fucking kidding about this, okay? Wait, hold on. Let me just show you guys this. This is how not to show empathy. British Museum loan artifacts. I think it was to Uganda or something. Yes. Yeah. Oh, no, not this one. Hold on. British Museum Artifact Loan Africa. Where was the story? Images. Sorry, not images. News. I need to show you guys this. Ah, yes. Is it this? Ah, yes, here. British museums return looted crown jewels to Ghana under a long-term loan arrangement. I'm not joking. I am not joking. This was in 2024. What? A long-term loan arrangement, bro. British museums return looted crown jewels to Ghana under a long-term loan arrangement. How is this a loan? The museum announced the important cultural collaboration, which sidesteps UK laws that prohibit the return of cultural treasures to their countries of origin. Just give it back, bro. Just give it back. Just give it back. Oh my gosh. Sorry, can't, mate. It's the law. Please tell me. This is not dealing with empathy. This is not forward-looking. This is empire-esque behavior. This is white supremacy. This is not the way to do it. The biggest diamond in the world, yeah, the Kohinoor diamond, yeah, it should be returned as well. All of it should be returned. But they won't do it. There are things that Europe can start doing right now. There are things, actually, no, Britain isn't responsible for white supremacy. It's Portugal. Portugal made it policy in the mid-1400s through a manuscript that was funded by by Prince Henry, and it was written by Gomez Inés de Zurara, and that was the first time whiteness became whiteness became a privilege and policy. It was the Portuguese that started it during the Portuguese voyages. What's that? I'm about to finish it. You want it? What is it? Cake. Ooh, yeah. Can I have a bite? You can finish it. Oh, really? Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yeah. The British Empire contributed to it massively, yes. But, yeah, the voyages is is when it all started. When Western Europe decided that they would stop enslaving Slavs from Eastern Europe, because Slavs started to build defensive structures, and they just wanted to focus all of their slavery on black people, on the black people of Africa. So they created this hierarchical view of whiteness versus blackness. And that manuscript by Gomez Inés de Zurara was distributed around Western Europe, which then became the fundamental foundation of European colonization, whiteness as a weapon. That's when it was weaponized. So when people say, like, don't be racist against whites, like, what does that even mean? It was whiteness that implemented the racial hierarchy. It was whiteness that made this hierarchy into a policy of land theft. And like, so what does it mean to be racist against white? You know, what does it mean to be what does it mean to be racist against white? Like, the whole hierarchical system is an invention of whiteness, you know? So, yeah, whenever I get called a racist because I'm talking about white fragility and white privilege and white supremacy, it's like, how many fucking people am I going to explain this to, you know? It gets quite hard. But there are lots of fragile snowflakes. There are lots of fragile snowflakes.
Because there's no protection.
Hey, Frost.
In the villages, the only force authorized to hold guns is the military, and then the settlers who have guns as private individuals. There's no Palestinian police force that is allowed to operate there, and no protection available. Under international law, the army is required to protect Palestinians, and in fact, to safely remove the settlers from the occupied West Bank, where they don't have a right to be.
Buckingham Palace rejects calls to return remains of stolen prince to Ethiopia. Please read about it. That's a great one, Mimi. Yeah, and what was it? The Windrush generation. If you guys don't know about the Windrush generation, look them up. Literally, black people were paying reparations to their white slavers for generations. And it only ended recently. Like, the enslaved people, this was in the Caribbean, I think. So when they abolished slavery, they had the slaves pay reparations to their slave owners. And that didn't end till like 2014 or something. It was very recent that the Windrush generation stopped paying this reparation.
But that's not what's happening. So when the army comes to these incidents, it becomes even more dangerous for Palestinians. And when Israeli Jewish volunteers try to call the police to file police complaints against the settlers, they are rejected, phones hung up. There's no recourse for Palestinians. So it's inevitable that people are going to try to defend themselves. And then I worry that we're going to see very violent reactions from the Israeli government. And it's really important for me to say that these settlers are, their violence is state violence. The Israeli government put them unlawfully in the occupied territory. It's unlawful for an occupying power to transfer its civilians into the occupied territory. Even in the outposts that are unauthorized, the Israeli government is providing infrastructure like water and electricity, and most importantly, protection from the army at the expense of Palestinians. So when settlers enter a Palestinian village and engage in violence or harassment against Palestinians, the army will show up and then more likely than not either do nothing or participate in the violence and harassment of Palestinians. So there's literally nothing villagers can do. And the last thing I'll say is that we've seen a worrying trend of the Israeli military arresting village leaders who've been organizing the protective presence of volunteer Israeli Jews. In other words, leaders who are trying to find nonviolent options.
Bro, Ian, like, dude, like, you're just saying random shit. Acknowledge what your ancestors did. Acknowledge what your ancestors did. You know, lead with empathy, not with bigotry like you're doing right now. You know?
To protect their villages are now finding themselves under arrest and being abused and mistreated.
Yo, did that guy just like leave after I asked him if he believes he has white privilege? Did that dude just leave? Did they just leave? No, not you, Agad.
In detention.
Alon, Ehud Olmert, the former prime minister, he wrote an opinion piece in Haaretz with the headline, Israel is conducting a systematic campaign of ethnic cleansing and war crimes or crimes against humanity in the West Bank. And he even called for an intervention.
You drive white cars? Nah, my car's black, bro.
By the ICC, referring to what he called Jewish terrorism in the West Bank. Those kind of articles, do you think that they have any kind of effect on the Israeli public?
On the Israeli public, minimal effect, if anything. I mean, either they preach to the converted, or they fall.
Bro, you drive white cars and use white technologies seems really stupid when you think about the fact that all of those technologies were invented using Arabic numerals and the number 0, which was invented in India, right? Like, none of these technologies would be possible without Arabic numerals and the number 0. So, like, are you driving brown cars?
Fall on deaf ears. Mostly, predominantly, they.
What do you mean do not use them? You don't use them then. Don't use Arabic numerals. You don't know what Arabic numerals you use, do you? You don't even know what I'm talking about because you're just a chud on the internet.
They fall on deaf ears. Look, the West Bank.
Go back to the caves.
is 35 kilometers east from the window I'm looking at when I'm not looking at you. And Israelis conveniently live in complete denial over what's going on there. They haven't been.
Thank you, friends.
This one's for you, buddy. This one's for you.
Well done, my boy.
देखा मैंने कितना अच्छा डांस करता है?
Thank you, friends.
This is also for you.
Thank you, friends.
They don't care much of the settlers, by the way, but they care even less about the Palestinians, and they care even less than that about this abnormality of the occupation. And they can't fathom. They can't even begin to think what this all means, because, you know, if you don't like the two-state solution and you don't like the idea or concept of a Palestinian state, then.
Aisha, have you had your child? Have you had a baby? Guys, I think we may have a new Syrian mother in chat. Oh, Aisha. Oh, you had a baby? Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Globalized intifada.
Hey, can anyone type Arabic? Can anyone type in Arabic, please? Like a translation? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? And is your baby a boy or a girl? You should be a guest. Oh, I would love to come meet you and your baby, Umaisha. That is amazing. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Umaisha has been part of the community. And when the whole Jolani thing was going on, when Bashar al-Assad's downfall was happening, Umaisha was pretty badly impacted and used to come onto the live a while ago. This is when we were doing like panels and things like that, and Umaisha used to come and tell us the story, updates from on the ground. And yeah, Umaisha has now had a baby. Wow. Congratulations, Umaisha. It's so nice to hear. So nice to hear. That's so cool, man. That is incredible. Hold on, let me just share this on here. Oh, Aisha. That is so awesome. I don't understand English. Yeah, we're trying to we're trying to get people to translate what I'm saying. Oh my goodness. Isn't that awesome, community? By how she wrote it, I think she had a girl. Oh! You had a girl? Girl or boy? The girl is beautiful and her name is Gauri? Oh, beautiful name. Oh, beautiful name. Oh, pronounced Juri? Juri? Juri. Pronounced Juri. Okay. Beautiful name. Juri equals Rose? Oh, that's nice. That's very nice, eh? Oh, that's such positive news. Thank you. We've just had a bunch of racist people in chat today. It's so nice to have you here to change the tone a little bit. Thank you. We need the W's to counteract those L's, yeah. The knowledge likely spread westward over time. He discovered pi, fundamental logarithms, and algebra, as well as a number of physical applications and other things. Should be acknowledged as one of the fathers of modern mathematics, and that is directly as a result of Indian academia at the time. Wow. Incredible. I didn't know that. Why is it saying space exploration? The heck? Oh, Indian astronomer and mathematician. Ah, yeah, there you go. When will jury take a guest? Or Umaisha, do you want to come on? Do you want to come on now? Do you want to come on as a guest? Guys, we'll take a guest on. Can someone help me translate, please? Diana, can you translate? Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
I am very good, Umaisha. I am very good. How are you?
I am good, alhamdulillah. One daya.
It's very nice to hear your voice.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Hold on. One second. Can I just please 1 second. Let me just change this 1 second. Oh my goodness. Where is this? Oh gosh.
Thank you. Baby. Look.
Where is the live studio? Hold on. 1 second, Umaisha. 1 second, please.
Judy.
Judy?
Hi, I am Judy.
Oh my
Judy,
gosh.
yes.
This is so incredibly adorable.
Small. Big, small.
1 second. Umaisha, you stay there. 1 second, okay? Just wait. We all want to see Judy. 1 second.
Judy.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Select a window.
Look.
Let me just do this.
Thank you, my brother. Allah bless you.
Of course. Oh my gosh, look at this. Hold on.
Sleep. Okay, I am stop camera, okay?
1 second. 1 second. Umaisha, wait. I'm just showing it. Showing jury to everybody. Oh, chat. Oh my gosh, so cute.
Cute, yes.
Very cute. Oh, beautiful baby. Umaisha, congratulations, Umaisha.
Oh, thank you. Allah bless you, brother.
Thank you,
everyone.
So feel free to stop sharing the camera, by the way. I was just...
Yeah. Top camera? Okay. Okay?
Yeah. Hey, can we get 1 second, Umaisha? Like, we'll get someone to help translate. Can we get someone to help translate, please? So that we can have a conversation. Please, chat. Anybody?
Baby.
Do we have no one in chat that can who can translate Arabic? Can we see the sleepy face? I'm asking in Discord. I don't know if anyone I know is up. I wish I knew how to. Oh, Umaisha, I don't think we have people who can translate. I'm here if you like. I think you can find someone better. Oh my goodness. Yep. I can't even invite you, Anna. I don't know why I can't invite you. Oh, there you go. Anna Radi isn't available. Hold on. Let me just try and invite you again. Yeah, you're not showing up on the list. I don't know why. I can't seem to add you, Anna. Can one of the mods add Anna? Ah, there we go. No. Can one of the mods add Anna, please? Oh, you have it blocked? Okay. I can't Yeah. I'm so sorry, Umaisha. Give me 1 second. I'll just.
Okay, no problem, brother. Allah bless you.
Guys, support Umaisha if you can. Gift if you can.
Give it Judy, baby.
Oh, you requested? Nice. Yes. Okay. Cool. Here we go.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Welcome in.
How you doing, guys? مرحبا يا أختي كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله بخير. انت كيفك؟
الحمد لله. Sorry noisy. I'm here for you guys. شو بتحبي تحكي له؟
بحكي لهم شكرا لهم على وقفتهم جنبي، وانا جبت بنوته كتير حلوه اسمها جوري.
He says thank you very much for standing beside her when she was having her baby and she was going through everything. She'd like to thank you very much.
I didn't do anything, honestly. Like, I don't know what I did, but I'm so happy that you're safe and the baby is safe. That's all, Umaisha, honestly.
مسكين بقول لك الحمد لله ما سواش إشي بس الحمد لله البنت منيحة وكل شيء تمام معاكي.
الحمد لله. أنا فريق كتير حلو، أنا على طول بتابعهم.
ما شاء الله على البيبي مش بجنن ما شاء الله الحمد لله.
الله يحفظكم يا رب.
من وين أنت يا أختي؟
أنا سورية.
Syria, from Syria.
Yeah, from Syria, yes.
Pleasure.
And how's the baby? How's Judy doing? Is all healthy, all fine? Like, does Judy need anything?
كل شيء تمام مع البيبي بدها إشي بتعتاز إشي؟
نعم.
كل إشي تمام مع البيبي بتعتاز إشي بدك إشي محتاجة إشي؟
الحمد لله طبعا يعني تساعدوني الله يرزقوني يا رب. بجيب لحالي.
She says thank you very much. She could use all the help she can get, of course. But yeah, everything's fine with the baby. She's healthy. God bless. She sleeps a lot.
Oh, we can hear those cute voices. The baby sounds, everybody.
طبعا بتحتاج حليب، بتحتاج حفاضات، أحيانا دواء.
She needs milk, she needs diapers, you know, all the normal stuff that babies need.
Yes. Please support Umaisha, guys. Like, so Umaisha has links in her profile. If you can't give, that's all good. Follow and share her content and profile and things like that so other people see it. But yeah, Umaisha is currently in Syria and has been, part of this community for such a long time. Umaisha became part of this community during the overthrow of the Bashar al-Assad times, when things were getting really bad, and Umaisha was looking for help, and the community came through in many cases. And Umaisha, has always been part of this community. So yeah, help Umaisha out if you can. And
would you like me to ask her anything for you? Let me know.
Just say thank you so much for coming on the live and showing us Jury.
يا اختي شكرا كثير بحكي لك والحمد لله ما شاء الله على البيبي بالجنة الحمد لله شكرا كثير.
الله يحفظك يا رب. الله
ان شاء الله
يسعدك. شكرا
وبنساعدك
على المحاولة.
ان شاء الله بنساعدك قد ما بنقدر ان شاء الله.
الله يسلمك يا رب. لا يا
Oh, did you do a fart? Did Jury do a fart? Was that a poo? Oh my gosh, we got a live. That's so cool. Cute. Oh my gosh. Oh my population. Oh my population. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. Oh my goodness.
ليب هي رقد بتنام خلاص شوي بتنام.
Then she opens her eyes for a few minutes and she goes back to sleep.
Yeah. Sleepy baby.
ما هيك الأطفال. Yes. حبيبي. انقل.
Beautiful.
يا روعي دولي نايمي على طول نايمي.
Very sleepy baby.
ما شاء الله.
Cute.
هاي أصغر وحدة على التيك توك. Baby.
She's just a TikTok star now.
Yeah. Oh man. Can you please let Umaisha know? You know, I hope everything's okay. I hope they're safe, and obviously, like, come back anytime, and you know.
بقول لك شكرا كثير كثير. ان شاء الله دير بالك على حالك وعلى البيبي. اذا بتعتذري شيء تعالي شوفينا اي وقت بدك.
الله يحفظك وشكرا له لاني بحاول يساعدني يعني.
الحمد لله واحنا بنساعدك قد ما نقدر ان شاء الله يا اختي. ان شاء الله.
الله يحفظك يا رب. انا بسكر عادي اذا بدي اسكن انزل.
هلا بس you want her to drop now?
What does she want to do? Like, does she want to stay on?
She said whatever you want to do. She said it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm about to go off anyway.
رح نسكر احنا هلا كمان شوي. سؤال الحمد لله.
تمام.
يسلم يا اختي الله معك.
مع السلامة. شكرا نيف.
شكرا أمايشة. شكرا.
ماشي يلا السلام. باي باي.
باي.
حتى يعني ما أحرجه.
Oh man. Wasn't that incredible, chat? Chat. Wasn't that incredible? Thank you so much, by the way, Radi. Thank you. Okay, we're back. Oh, that was so cool. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I'm so happy. I am so happy. Oh my gosh. New baby sounds as well, yeah. Little farts. That was so awesome, man. Oh my gosh, everybody. Yeah, honestly, like, those are the best moments, man. Like, when you see people you've met along the way, and they come back and share things with you like this, it makes it like all worth it, you know? Like, a lot of people we've met along the way. Like, I don't know how many of those people are still alive, you know? I haven't tried looking because it was hundreds, maybe even thousands of people who we spoke to over like a 7-month period. And I have no clue how many of them are still alive. Like, I have no clue. So when people come back and you see this and you hear that, there's like nothing better. There's nothing better than this. This is what it's about. It's all for that next generation, right? Like, that's why we're doing this. That's why we give a fuck. I know I do this because of my son in so many different ways. I want him to see a just world, man. Like, I want him to be aware. That just made my whole day. Honestly, that was incredible. For a moment, didn't feel like I had any problems. That's everything, guys. That's everything to me. That is absolutely everything to me. Hey, Deez. I agree, Anna. Radhi. I keep calling you Anna. I should call you Radhi. I realize. That makes it all worth it, eh? Oh, gosh, man. It was so, like, how can we not feel bad for children like that when they're being bombed like that. Like in Gaza, there are children like that, man. In Syria, in Lebanon, wherever. What are we doing, bro? Like, that's precious, man. We have to protect that stuff. That's just precious. Oh, fuck. I can't believe some people will look at a baby like that and go, they are our enemies. Like, how? How do you look at a baby like that and say that that baby is the enemy? I don't understand it. Like, that baby is it's the most precious thing. I went on Archive Genocide and, looked at. It's very confronting because afternoon, welcome. It's very confronting because during the genocide, all of these images kind of, you're scrolling through and you're seeing image after image. When you go to Archive Genocide, it's all there. It's all there. So scrolling through all of that again, it's like, oh my gosh, this is what we've been witnessing, being kind of drip fed to us on our timelines. But this is it. This is the genocide here. And you see all of those babies, all of those children, all of those kids, women, men. Bro, it's very, very confronting. It's incredibly confronting. But we have to witness. We have to witness. Whatever happens, we have to witness. Because that is what's happening there is evil. That is pure evil. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a night. But thank you so much for being here with me tonight. What a way to end it live. What a way to end it live. That was so precious. Far out. I'm so happy. I am so happy. Honestly, my heart is so full. And I'm happy. Who can we raid, chat? Who can we raid? Who can we raid? Twitch. Who we raid? All good, boo boo. No probs. Ooh, Celticness. Shall we do Celticness? I haven't rated Celticness in a while, Shiny. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, what can I say? How beautiful, how nice to see Umaisha, honestly, and her daughter, Juri. Beautiful name. Thank you so much. Thank you, Auntie Wash. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, chat. Thank you, mods. Thank you for all your support. And Umaisha, we love you. Please take care. And we'll catch you all soon. Have a great day. Here we go, Raiders. Please say hi to Celticness for me. In 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Kakite, Pomarie. Free Palestine. Bye, Boothie, wherever you are. Oh, great. Take care, everyone. Kakite, TikTok, Kakite, Pomarie. I'll catch you all soon, okay? Good night. Free Palestine. See you, everybody.